If you are a perfectionist that tends to be an overachiever and type A and driven, you have probably noticed by now achieving and winning and accomplishing things, it doesn't give you the same high on the inside, ooh, that feels good as it used to. In fact, maybe a lot of you go to the next level because you think, oh, this is going to feel so good. I just need to get there. I just need to get there. And then you get there and you don't feel anything. Then you feel worse about that because you're like, man, I sacrificed so much and I did so much because I thought I was going to feel this way and now I don't. And now I feel even worse. I feel like I should be feeling this way and everyone around me is feeling really happy. So what's wrong with me? Sound familiar? If it does, you are in the right place. Are you a little bit of a perfectionist? Type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and to bring it into reality can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. Traditional institutions have taught you that there is a right way to be and a wrong way to be, and being a perfectionist is not only wrong, but it's problematic. Your problem is not that you are a perfectionist. The most joyful, extraordinary, fulfilled people on the planet are perfectionists. Your problem is that you're not being your full self. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired. In this episode, you are getting the inside scoop on the undeniable, extraordinarily unexpected, oh my gosh, what? Yay! And highly underrated benefits of rewiring your perfectionism. I'm going to start with a story of perfectionism optimized one-on-one coaching client Dylan. Before working together, Dylan would get flustered when she presented to her company's board of advisors and shareholders. She didn't like speaking in front of a lot of people. A slide would be out of order. Someone would ask a question that she wasn't expecting. After these meetings, after these presentations, Dylan would tell herself, that presentation you gave was absolute trash. You're bringing your whole team down. You are hurting the founder of this company. You knew you were punching above your weight when you took on this leadership role. Now everyone else can see it too. You are a total fraud. You don't belong here. You always knew it. And now everybody else knows it too. In this example of Dylan, she's making herself feel worse with all of the self-criticism and the whippings. She has a lot less energy. The beatdowns are beating her down. And so instead of watching Nancy Duarte on how to give more engaging presentations, she's like, oh, that sounds so annoying. The punitive behaviors continued for Dylan, but most of us, we're not even aware of it because we're just like, well, this is just what we do after we mess up. And eventually this gets to be overwhelmingly unbearable. So what do we do when we're like, oh, I just can't take the pain anymore? We numb out. Dylan would inhale 3 bags of pita chips, even though she'd be like, I wasn't even hungry. Another glass of wine, even though she's like, I can't even taste it. Might as well be drinking prune juice. When things would get a little still and quiet, after the kids went to bed, she continued replaying other mistakes that she's made. Remember in 7th grade at the spelling bee when just all of them, and just scanning the kitchen. Where else am I a failure? Where else have I messed up? Because Dylan didn't have the skill or the tools that you get inside of Perfectionism Optimized to pattern interrupt this self-criticism with curiosity and treating yourself humanely. Her mind, just like your mind, it's like you don't have a remote control. I wish I had an off button. It's just it's on and it's blaring all the time. You can either submit to that awful voice inside and imprison yourself and let that voice be the warden, or you can take back the narrative. You can change the channel. At this point with Dylan, she is convinced she's just awful. Guess what happens when you feel you are a terrible mess that's awful? You make choices that are awful. Why? Because terrible people, they don't deserve to be empowered. They don't deserve to up-level their life. You know what Dylan did? She started overworking, packed her schedule with not even a minute to go to the bathroom in between meetings, just like filled to the brim. She was unable to really prepare for her next presentation. It's not like she was unprepared, but like she didn't do anything different. She was stricter with herself. Like, you better not mess up when you're like that. Instead of expanding, you are shrinking yourself. At the next presentation for the board of advisors and the investors, she performed worse. All of her insecurities of, I don't belong here, now everyone sees it. Guess what happens? They were all confirmed. But Dylan didn't even really feel anything when this happened. Why? Because her frenetic and frazzled life left her so exhausted that she doesn't even feel, when she came to me, she said, I no longer feel much of anything except I'm tired all the time. I asked her, I said, are you tired all the time? Or have you just divorced feeling anything? And we discovered that it wasn't that she was tired all the time. It was that she hadn't developed interoceptive awareness yet. And through the EPIC framework, she is no longer tired. Now, after she does a presentation, she recognizes, hey, this presentation did not go the way that I wanted it to go. Oh, here's an area where I could improve. She says it just like that in a kind way, not like, oh, you suck. It's like, oh, cool. Here's an opportunity for me to grow. Like, how awesome is this, right? I'm a C-level exec and I still have room for growth. The difference here, it's like such a slight little nuance, and it's like a wedge that you're able to put between when you rewire your perfectionism, is that it doesn't mean anything about her. So like having a rough presentation is not a commentary on who she is as a human being. So an example that, thank you, Dylan, for allowing me and all of us to get a glimpse inside your brilliant perfectionistic brain. Now her response is, yeah. So I realized that it wasn't actually nervous. Now that I can speak the language of me, I'm interoceptively attuned. I realized that I was actually excited, and that a lot of times being nervous or anxiety is actually my excitement. This is really important stuff that I'm sharing with my board of advisors and investors. And what I'm so proud of myself for is that I messed up and I kept going. I didn't apologize for it. And you know what? No one actually really noticed, because no one else knew what I wanted to say and when I wanted to say it. I was able to sort of do some improv. She said, I'm still cringing right now when I think about it, but that's not all that I feel. This is where the interoceptive curriculum inside of Perfectionism Optimized is so clutch, because at least 50% of the time minimum, you are mislabeling your emotions because you are not attuned to your interoceptive signals. It's not your fault this is happening, but guess what? It is your responsibility to fix it. Why would you want to go around being illiterate in the only language that matters, speaking the language of you and what your inner experience is like? Going back to Dylan, she also said, I'm proud of myself for trying something new. Now I'm super curious about how I can be an even better presenter, because feeling good gives you more energy and feeling like a piece of poop drains your energy. Dylan has improved so meaningfully on her presentation skills, and she sees that has nothing to do with her performance, but it has to do with the way that she is leading herself. If you are a perfectionist that tends to be an overachiever and type A and driven, you have probably noticed by now is that achieving and winning and accomplishing things, it doesn't give you the same like high on the inside, like, ooh, that feels good as it used to. In fact, maybe a lot of you go to the next level because you think, oh, this is going to feel so good. I just need to get there. I just need to get there. And then you get there and you don't feel anything. And then what happens is that then you feel worse about that because you're like, man, I sacrificed so much and I like did so much because I thought I was going to feel this way and now I don't. And now I feel even worse. I feel like I should be feeling this way and everyone around me is feeling really happy. So what's wrong with me? Sound familiar? If it does, you are in the right place. Here's the alternative to that. When you are using dopamine in a really healthy, sustainable, and nutritious way, like the way you do inside of Perfectionism Optimized, even when your brain might be saying, that's totally not enough, that's not good enough, you should be doing better, you learn how to optimize dopamine for your advantage instead of dopamine is something that puts you at a disadvantage. Most of us perfectionists are used to being hypervigilant. We are living on high alert. You know this if you're catastrophizing, ruminating, people-pleasing, overextending yourself, overthinking. And for most of us, we are at this similar level of stress, like this simmering level of stress most of the time. Like for many of you, and this was me, the only time I don't feel that is when I sleep. And the only way that I can get to sleep is to use something else to assist me in doing that. Or I just like work myself into exhaustion. I literally like pass out at my desk, on the couch, in my child's bed, et cetera, et cetera. And when we're at this like high alert, simmering level, stressy, what happens is that wreaks havoc on not only on your body, but also on your mental wellness, your emotional wellness, your spiritual wellness, your relationships, and pretty much everywhere. When I'm working with clients inside of Perfectionism Optimized, my one-on-one coaching for perfectionistic people, one of our focuses is on emotional agility. And as a result of that, you are going to create a more balanced, regulated, and coherent nervous system. Or what I like to call, you are playing the majority of your time in the resilient zone. Some people call this your window of tolerance, but like, let's face it, as perfectionists, we have spent way too much time tolerating a lot of crap in our lives. And you don't need to spend any more time tolerating, okay? Let's upgrade you to the resilient zone. Another super cool benefit of rewiring your perfectionism is serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that moves into being a hormone inside of your body, and it impacts your overall mood and well-being. It is what helps you feel good, and it like feel good sustainably. It is your joy, it is happiness, and if you've heard of serotonin before, you've probably heard about it in relation to depression. A lot of people think that they're depressed, but actually they're a perfectionist. And when you rewire your perfectionism, you increase your serotonin tremendously. Serotonin, why do we care? It is released when you feel relaxed, at ease, playful, and pleasurable. Now, serotonin is very different than dopamine. Dopamine is the predictor hormone, and it is why the perfectionistic brain throws up so much resistance for change, because all brains are dope fiends. And the quickest way to get it is to continue to have a status quo, average, predictable existence. But the thing about dopamine is that it is more like a burst and it feels good in the moment. So for example, people pleasing, right? That can feel really good in the moment. Dopamine is involved in that. And it's because your brain is looking for a quick hit and it gets that quick reward. But then what you notice is there is a dip afterwards. And that's how you know that it's dopamine, because what happens is that you need more and more and more in order to get those hits. serotonin has a much longer term impact on your brain so that you're able to experience more joy in your normal day-to-day type stuff, like carpool or picking up dog poop, and not just fleeting dopamine hits that are thin and far between. So many perfectionists inside of Perfectionism Optimized start to see this right away. Their mood is just overall better. They're more calm. What used to set them off, like not all the toys are put away, or their partner said they cleaned the kitchen, but really they only ran the dishwasher. They're able to like genuinely like be happy and actually like enjoy playing with their kids and not like on the low checking their Slack channel at work. I just think it's so fun to understand the why behind, like, why is it that I just feel like I'm in a better mood? This is why. It's because of the serotonin and because you are using dopamine for your advantage instead of being put at a disadvantage. Another benefit to rewiring your perfectionism is you are just so much more resilient. I like to think of resilience like buoyancy. And so when all kinds of crap pops up in your life, you're able to be more resourceful. Like instead of always having to feel like you need to know everything and you need to be super prepared, you trust yourself that I will be able to handle this. Your confidence increases, your self-assurance increases. You are no longer at the whim of what's happening around you or how all the people that are close relationships in your life feel. When hard things do pop up, you are creating this system within yourself where you dissolve all of the negativity biases, the black and white thinking, just all of those things that are getting in your way, because the more experiences that you are having, that you are present, that you are proud of yourself. And the more that you focus on them, then you are actually shrinking this part of your brain known as the amygdala. The amygdala is our alarm bell system. It's what kicks off the stress cycle in your body. And if you have a go-getter amygdala, that means that there's a lot of things that bother you. So rewiring your perfectionism, it's creating a peaceful, powerhouse, connected self where you can actually shrink this whole alarm bell system and you can make yourself more available to experiencing your life and being present instead of ruminating or catastrophizing or planning every single minute while thinking about everything that might go wrong in the next 6 years of your life. Another benefit of rewiring your perfectionism is that it increases your mental focus. Why? Because you are training your perfectionistic brain to focus on what you want it to focus on, not on what it is focusing on. The more that you are developing this skill of increasing your mental focus, the more you're going to be able to use that focus when you're trying to go to sleep, when you are getting intimate with someone and you want to be able to I just really want to be able to be present. This will help you so you are not losing your shit on your kids when they are being complete heathens. The number one thing clients inside of Perfectionism Optimized share as their biggest area of transformation beyond rewired perfectionism and, the ability to quit fighting against themselves is the newfound love and acceptance they have for themselves. And when you have truly not only learned, but mastered this skill of playing on your own team, it's so much easier to speak up and advocate for what you want and to go after those maybe someday dreams of yours that you're like, yeah, but not for me. You're like, oh yes, for me. And you were just able to show up as a bolder version of yourself, because the worst thing that's going to happen is things are not going to go as planned. But guess what? Even if things don't go as planned, you have changed your own inner narrator. Like you no longer let potential judgment or rejection or hurting someone's feelings hold you back. When you are in this perfectionism positive state, you open up all of these possibilities and you make choices that are in alignment with the positive future. Instead of right now, I bet that you are making choices that have to do of, I want to avoid this bad thing happening. Like, I want to make sure this doesn't happen, so I'm going to do this. There's a huge difference between running towards something, like, oh, yes, I want that, versus, oh my gosh, please don't eat me, running away. Like, there's a difference between I'm getting my butt to work today because I don't want to be fired and homeless living on a bridge, versus I get to go to work today. I get to make my contribution. I get to work with people that help make me smart. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's such a difference between that. This right here is where perfectionism leveraged comes in and provides a proven approach that starts on the inside as it works its way to the outside. Do you know how to instantly calm yourself on the spot, no matter where you are, no matter how extreme the stress? You can stop letting other people or like petty things control your mood. You don't have all that negative self-talk that's like, going all the time. And you actually can create emotional poise, and not because you're numbing yourself or you're smiling and pretending that it doesn't matter. If that is you, why struggle? I've done the heavy lifting for you. Perfectionism is very powerful when you know how to leverage it. It's the most useful skill that you could ever learn, and it's a skill that will be with you for generations. If you want some of that, all you got to do is take the first step, and you can go for it at CourtneyLoveGavin.com. Listen up. Taking charge of your perfectionism is so much easier than you have been led to believe. Whether you want to stop playing out worst case scenarios in your head or be joyfully present, ambitious again, you don't need more rigid rules, guesswork, or hard work in perfectionism recovery. You need a framework that helps you understand and, most importantly, rewire your perfectionistic habits from the inside out. It starts inside of Perfectionism Optimized. Besides the obvious mental health and wellness benefits, rewiring your perfectionism is the fastest way to figure out what's really underneath your perfectionistic patterns. This radically different, proven, proprietary approach helps you succeed by dropping the contempt and judgment that blocks change. Discover how to trust yourself, take control of your world, and feel truly empowered to own your perfectionism instead of being owned by it. Head on over to CourtneyLoveGavin.com and start your transformation today.